Zack Snyder, great job on the movie.
Thank you so much.
Everyone has an opinion on this character, and as it's becoming on this film, as it's becoming known on this film, and the films around it. So, why do you think that is?
I think everyone has sort of their own personal relationship with Superman. Honestly, people have asked me like, "Oh, do you really worry about the fans?" And I do worry about the fans because I'm one of them. But on the other hand, I'm like, Superman is transcendent of comic book world. He is a pop culture icon as well. He's transcendent. Like you don't need to walk into a comic book store to show someone the S and go like, hey, who's that? Yeah. They can, it's like the difference between him and like Green Lantern, and by the way, I'm a big fan of Green Lantern, but you see someone with a Green Lantern shirt on and most dorks are like, yeah, cool, Green Lantern. But my dad is like, what is that? And I think that's the difference. My dad's like, Superman, like he knows it instantly. And I think that relationship, he for the fandom, he has to be shared, with the world. And I think that's a thing that everyone has to get used to a little bit.
An action Jesus for us all.
Yes, exactly. Literally.
You told our English cousins at Empire in the UK anyway that the film was everything you'd hoped for. Is it still everything you'd hoped for?
Oh no, absolutely.
Identifying bits about it now,
No. It's absolutely exactly what I wanted it to be. I definitely, have really been pleased with everyone's not only the performances in the movie, but from my production design team and my visual effects team and cinematography, everyone really, and of course Henry, everyone's really just done a bang-up job, and the movie, I couldn't be happier.
The Krypton sequences were amazing, and the whole visualization of Krypton was great. I mean, could you ever see yourself doing a story there?
Yeah, we were talking about like, wow, wouldn't it be cool to do like a Jor-el and Zod, the younger years, and they're like, it's the era of the warring states, and they have to figure out like, sure.
What was the?
Why not?
It's a really martial culture. Was it based on anything on Earth?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I kept saying like, it's like it was based in some ways on sort of Japanese feudal culture. That was kind of what we kind of modeled it after, because even though you don't see it, there are different city-states on Krypton, and they're all constantly at war with each other. I think the implication is that Zod's from another city-state. They're friends, but that's how he's able to bring his dropships and everything. And
okay.
Sorry, I
that's
dorked out on you a little bit.
I'm right with you. I mean, in fact, let's go further. I mean, the alien.
Oh, further yet.
the alien culture, the style cues, and some of the narrative touch points sort of shared similar elements to Prometheus and the Engineers. Is that something that was? Did it ever cross your mind like the?
This is what we said. I think in Prometheus, the implication is that life itself came from the stars, right?
Yeah.
Where I feel like what we were saying is that I think if you look carefully, and I don't even know what it means, but when you go to the scout ship and we know that it's like 30,000 years ago or 20,000 years ago that the scout ship landed, which kind of coincides a little bit with sort of human cultural growth and expansion.
Yeah.
Also, if you notice when Clark is looking around and he sees the dead Kryptonians, there's one bed is open and it's empty.
Where is that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Somewhere, possibly.
Yep.
Maybe he got stabbed by like a kryptonite spear or something. His villagers just killed him in his sleep. Who knows?
Ancestor to Genghis Khan.
Possible, right?
Diluted through the bloodline.
Yeah, now he's just barely strong. He's just a strong guy now.
There seemed to be a really great take on fathers and sons in this as well, and even like the society from Krypton is virtually fatherless because they're eugenically, farmed. I guess these babies. I mean, were you trying to tell a father-son story?
Yeah, I really was. An adoption story, a father-son story, a story of how unconditional love of a parent, it can be one of the most powerful things. More powerful than a Superman if you, if harnessed correctly. Absolutely, that was really a big part of the movie and a big part of the why of the movie. You couldn't make a Superman movie without understanding sort of what makes him tick. And I think that's what we really try to go after as hard as we could.
Yeah, sure. So Justice League Any news? Are you going to be involved? You must be involved in some manner. Anything?
Here's the thing.
Have you said this a few times?
No, it's different. I mean, yes, I've said it a few times, but I think that it's important to talk about because, I've said that Superman, the Justice League is a top-down affair, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You got to. There's two things you got to do. One, you've got to get Superman's house in order, right? And two, you have to look at the rest of the DC universe, and because what I try to do with this movie is imply that there are DC characters within this world, right? Other DC characters. Yeah. Whether or not we don't see them, but there's evidence that they're out there. So just like you top down Superman, you got to sort of top down then the rest of the DC characters. And not to say that they need their own movies or anything per se, like say the Marvel model, but I mean, by the way, I'm also not ruling that out, but I do think that there's a opportunity to start to think about like how you might introduce other DC characters, and whether that's a Justice League movie or whether that's just a way of expanding Superman's universe. Yeah. Those are things that I think that's the next conversation, I think, for me.
Yeah. Do you feel in competition with the Marvel films?
I personally don't. I think, the studio may feel that way a little bit because they're business people, and I get that. They're like, oh, well, they have a movie with a ton of superheroes. Where's our movie with a ton of superheroes? They have Iron Man. Where's our guy in a metal suit? Whatever. They actually haven't said that to me, but I can imagine though those conversations. I mean, that's not outrageous. I don't think I would not blame them for that because I'd probably be saying the same thing if I were in their position. But I don't feel like I'm in competition with the Marvel movies only because I think the way, and Chris and I talked about it a lot, and I think Warner Brothers really needs to, stay with what we do. Like after the Dark Knight trilogy and now this sort of restart of Superman, we have a tone that we're kind of into. And it works for us. It works for me. And it works for, I think, the DC universe in a different way than it was funny because in the comic book world the Marvel comics are the darker ones and the DC was the bright happier one, but it's this weird thing that's paradigm switch, which is kind of fun. I like it. Yeah.